Okay, so far in exponential functions, we've looked at 4 different cases. We looked where a was greater than 1, it was a whole number, and x was greater than or equal to 1. Then we looked at where a was less than 1 but greater than 0, and x was still greater than or equal to 1. Then we looked at a less than 0, a being a negative number, and we found out that we couldn't do that, that resulted in meaningless stuff because we can't take the square root of a negative number. Finally, yesterday we looked where a was greater than or equal to 1, a whole number, and x was between 1 and 0. All right, and we saw what that did, that it went from the number 1 up to whatever the value of a was. Today, let's look at what happens when x is less than or equal to 0 and a is greater than or equal to 1. All right, so this is what we're going to do today. All right. So let's take a look at it and make a data table. All right, so we're going to do where a equals 3 and x is going to be less than or equal to 0. All right, so this is x and y. Now, a being 3, so we're going to have y equals 3 to the x. And our x values are less than 0. So let's look at x is equal to 0, -1, -2, -3. All right? Now, we have to remember something that we learned a few days ago, and that is, what does it mean when we have a number raised to a negative number? Right? That's the same thing as the 1 over 3 squared. Remember, when we have a negative exponent, it's the same thing as saying 1 over that number raised to the positive exponent. This is the key remembering that we have to have in order for us to understand this. So now, we can do this because we can say, oh, when x is 0, y is equal to 1 because 3 to the 0 power is 1. All right? When x is -1, guess what? We still are 1 over 3 to the 1. What is that? 3 to the 1 is 1/3. All right? When we go to 2, now we've got 1 over 3 squared. That's 1/9. When we go to -3, 3 to the -3 is equal to 1 over 3 to the 3rd. 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27, 1/27. Okay, so now we can plot this, we can do a graph of it, and take a look at what it says to us. All right, so now when a is a positive number and x is less than 0 or equal to 0, when x is 0, we start out and our value is 1, okay? When we go to x is -1, all of a sudden our value goes to 1/3. When x is -2, we go to 1/9. And when x is -3, it's 1/27. We have this. Again, we have an asymptote, which means that this line is approaching 0, but never makes it to 0. All right, so this starts off at 1 and goes down, and the rate at which it goes down is dependent upon this number, because if I have a smaller number here, it's going to go down slower than if I have a large number. All right, we'll get some homework for you.